Today in SERDNA Talks, we're going to talk about how to win a bidding war. We have the craziest real estate market ever, not only in Miami and Broward County, but across the nation. And I'm constantly talking to clients about this issue because looking for a house nowadays is tough, especially for first-time home buyers and for those who are not financially strong. So if you have been looking for a house for many months, or if you're just starting your search, then get ready and arm yourself with tons and tons of patience. But let's say that you just saw the perfect property, and let's say that you're working with a realtor. But let me ask you, are you working with the best realtor in your city? Because buying a property might be as easy as skiing downhill. It looks fun, easy, and it's awesome. But if you have no skills, then you will fall so hard and could end up in the hospital, right? The same applies to realtors. If you're working with the best, then your experience might be tons of fun, but with some minor hiccups or none at all. But if your realtor is useless, then you might lose your favorite property, and sometimes you could end up losing your initial deposit because of negligence. Let's hope that you're working with the best realtor, but if not, then watch this video and tell your realtor to do as I say or else. Just kidding. I live in Miami and the competition here is like nowhere in the world. Our level of competition is now higher than New York City and California, since most of New Yorkers and Californians are moving to Southeast Florida, Texas, and Nevada, but most of them are moving to Southeast Florida for obvious reasons. Buying a property nowadays is hard because of the bidding wars. Sellers are receiving multiple offers on their properties hours after listing it, and properties are now selling to the buyer who is willing and able to pay more for the property, basically to the highest bidder. Bidding wars are awful since they destroy many hearts, since people fall in love with properties even if they are not the owners. So, should you stay away from bidding wars? Well, maybe. It all depends. If you're really in love with the property and if you have deep pockets, then go ahead, buy it. But if you are financing your property and if you really rely on the loan amount, then forget it. There's nothing you can do since most of the buyers are paying cash for their properties. The buyers that are financing their property, and if they are willing and able to pay over the asking price, they're doing it. And they're also waiving the appraisal contingency. So if you're able to go under contract, congratulations. But if during the property inspection, you start noticing that the property needs tons and tons of repairs, then consider walking away at that moment. Bidding wars will tempt you to make an offer outside your price range. And if you need to spend a lot of money fixing it, replacing the roof, the floors, the bathrooms, the kitchen, then that could affect your finances. Let's talk about some of the things that can help you win a bidding war when buying a property in a competitive market. If you're here in Miami or in Broward County, write this or at least pay close attention, because one of the things that you need to do is go get pre-approved now. Not later, today, now. If you think that you will be able to shop around with the intention to buy a property in the most competitive market ever without having a DU or a pre-approval letter, you are delusional and you're wasting your time. Another thing, you should ask your realtor to get additional property information, not only about the property itself, but about the offers and their conditions. It's not easy to get that information since supposedly it's confidential. But if your realtor knows how to ask, then things can turn to your favor. Tip number 3 might not be the easiest of all, but is one that we are seeing more and more often. And every single seller loves this one because it's a cash offer. Sellers love cash deals because it could waive the appraisal contingency. Even if it's a cash deal, the buyer could easily hire a property appraiser in order to determine if the property is priced correctly or not. Tip number 4 would be, and this is something that you shouldn't do since there's too much risk involved and things can go wrong. And if they do, then you will lose tons and tons of money. But in a competitive market like the one we have right now, when you remove contingencies, this will put your offer ahead of your competitors. So if you're willing and able and would like to gamble, then do it. You can eliminate the inspection period or not. You can or you should tell your realtor to have an inspection period between 2 to 5 days maximum. Don't ask for 7, 15 days. That's just ridiculous. And if you have cash available and if you really love the property, then consider removing the appraisal contingency. So get ready to pay extra out of pocket. Tip number 5 would be to remember that working with the best realtor is key when buying or selling a property. And if you're ready to make an offer, tell your realtor to use an escalation clause. This one basically tells the seller how much you're willing and able to raise your offer in case of an emergency or in case someone is trying to overbid you. Remember that in a bidding war, it's all about which buyer is ready to pay more for the property. Tip number 6 will be that your goal is to come to an agreement with the seller. So tell your realtor to ask as many details as possible. You need to be on the same page as the seller, not only on the price, but on the terms, and more specifically, on the closing date. Tip number 7, if I'm not mistaken, is that it's very helpful and you shouldn't judge it since it could be a little bit cheesy, but this one is to write a personal letter to the seller. And this letter needs to touch their hearts and soul. Tell them how much you love their property and tell them that you want your family to live there forever and ever and ever. But don't tell them that as soon as you close, you will start the demolition process. Tip number 8 will be that if you're willing and able to increase the initial deposit and your down payment amount, do it. This tactic could put you ahead of other buyers who may appear less serious and less ready about buying their property. And tip number 9 will be that even if this one is nothing new, and I told it to you many times, you should only work with the best realtor. This will save you a lot of money, and the most important thing in the world, it will help you save time. The best realtor will help you save time, and that's a win-win situation. If you have questions, remember to subscribe to SERDNA Talks and to share all my videos with your friends and family. I have to go. See you soon. Ciao.